It's the Mustang Insider Show presented by Cal Portland, the largest building materials company of cement and construction material products on the West Coast. Now, here's Chris Sylvester, the voice of the Mustangs.
Welcome to another edition of the Mustang Insider presented by Cal Portland. And believe it or not, we are right around the corner from the start of the college baseball season and a man embarking on his 19th year at the helm of the Cal Poly baseball program. It is the head coach of the Mustangs, Larry Lee, joining us for the first time here in the new year. Hey, Coach, happy 2021. I know 2020 was odd, unusual, and tough, but how good does it feel to be right on the cusp of a new season and hopefully a full season?
Yeah, a lot of uncertainties definitely through the fall of 2020 and then also 2021. We're still trying to iron out some things. But yeah, we're excited. Unfortunately, we had a really good fall compared to most of the other colleges in California. So we're happy where we are. We just in time for baseball season with the Noah's Ark storm coming, and so we'll get through this next couple of days, and we start official team practice this Friday.
Yeah, so this Friday you're gearing up, and there's still a little bit of uncertainty as to what the schedule might look like. Different conferences are doing different things. I know you guys behind the scenes have the schedule built out. What are you hearing in regards of maybe the Big West adding a game onto the 3-game conference series during the weekend and potentially not allowing midweeks? I mean, those are just some of the rumors going around. But when do you expect the schedule to be finished?
Should be finished early next week, early to middle next week. As coaches, we adopted a proposal. We actually had a number of different options for a schedule 6 months ago, and it kind of fell on deaf ears. And then probably a few weeks ago, we got back on it, and we said that we wanted 4-game series and for a conference, and we would have liked flexibility with midweeks if you need to, but with us, as the schedule is right now, our non-conference is weekends only. Conference is 4-game series, and so we have 56 right now. Now, like basketball, baseball is going to have the same issues that we may not get all 56 games in, but as of right now, that's where we're at. So we have 40 conference games. We have 4 non-conference series at the front end of the schedule, which starts February 19th, and then we have a bye weekend. So one of those non-conference series is 4 games. The other 4 are 3 games. Add that to the 40 conference games, and that's how you get 56. What I hear right now that the athletic directors and the council will have to vote on. They got to decide the double headers, if they're going to be 9-9, 9-7, 7-9 with if the first game goes extra innings and the second game automatically becomes 7, or 7-7. As coaches, we're 100% in favor of 9-9, but that's not how it is right now with the people voting. So it's a mixture of the 3, and I think we've campaigned for 9-9 all along. Major League Baseball, they did it this year. It was a condensed season of 60 games. It's money to them. It's not a money issue to us, and we would like 9-9. If I was to guess, we'd probably be right in the middle. It'd probably be like a 9-7 type of deal, and I guess we could live with that. But none of the coaches. I mean, baseball is supposed meant to be 9 innings. So
Larry,
that's what we're doing right now, and I think you only have flexibility with your midweeks until the conference season starts. That's what I'm hearing. So once conference begins, no more midweeks. And so, but what this does, the 4 games, it does a lot of things. It at least gets you more games during conference. So that's the student athlete experience. It saves a lot of money because we had 9 midweeks, 6 of them were on the road. It lessens the contact, whether you're in a bus traveling or whether you're playing another team, and it gives you some consistency with your COVID testing. So you can test on the same 2 days during the midweek and be able to play one team 4 games on a conference weekend. So there's a lot of positives. It helps in academics, where I mean it just gives you structure. But all along we thought that it gave you the best opportunity to play as many games as possible. And last year we played 16, other teams played 15, and you just get shortchanged. And you don't want to play 30 or 35 or 40. You want to play as close to 56 as possible, and that's just the way baseball is. And that's a coach's mindset. That's a player's mindset. That's how you develop your players. And it's a you know strange circumstances, but we're trying to do our best.
Our guest is Larry Lee here on the Mustang Insider, presented by Cal Portland. It has been the longest off season that you've ever had to deal with. We got shut down middle of last March, before conference play even began. We still had a few more weekends of non-conference play left when they pulled the plug on the season. That being said, I think everybody who's been kind of living this pandemic lifestyle, time has gone by a little bit quicker. So being that it really was an off season about 2.5 months longer than you're used to, did it really feel like it was that much longer of an off season with everything else going on?
Yes, but the players. See, we had a number of players stay in town, and then probably 2/3 of the players left to do their classes online back home. Um, the ones that stayed really benefited, with weightlifting and working out on a daily basis, and they took their training to a completely different level, and you can see the benefits and the changes in a lot of our players, and it's added to a much better culture within the program. Majority of our players, they have a great work ethic, good mindset, and have a lot of new players. And because our returners have that mindset, that work ethic, it gets the younger guys on board a lot sooner. So, probably in the last few years, it was kind of hit and miss with how many of our players really went after it hard and sacrificed and did what they needed to do to become successful and become become as good as they could actually become with the talent skill level that they bring to the table. And this year is completely different, and we mix in some talent, and we have the work ethic, and um, it's good. I'd say our players are really excited. They're looking forward to it. They put in a lot of time, but hopefully you'll see the difference in our product.
How many of your guys got the opportunity to go play in some sort of summer league this past year? I know you were kind of concerned about that when the season got shut down, whether or not certain leagues would go, college baseball summer leagues. Turned out a lot of them on the West Coast didn't, but
Yeah.
there were some games played in the Midwest and out on the East Coast. So how many of your guys actually got a few games under their belt last summer?
Well, usually everybody would go out and play summer ball, excluding pitchers maybe that threw too much, and then they stay here and maybe take a class and uh, and really focus their time in the weight room. I think we had 5 players play in the Northwoods League. So that league's like Minnesota, Illinois, North Dakota, Iowa. So they played in pods. So I think maybe all 5 played in a 4-team or 5-team pod up in that area. 2 of our players, one returner and one incoming, played for the Santa Barbara Foresters. They put together a makeshift schedule. And there might have been a couple of other like high school players that played kind of semi-locally where they were at and got some games in. But those 7 for sure were guys that got time in. it's been so long. I forget where it was, but yeah, we had trouble. I mean, we had um, like my son. We had him. He was supposed to go to the Cape. Got the word that the Cape was shutting down. So I tried to think about what was the safest place in the United States for the COVID that maybe something would continue. And so got him in Alaska, and then that shut down. And
Oh,
then
no.
so I remember pulling up to the parking lot and checked my text, and there it was. It was canceled. And then 10 minutes later, I had him in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and about 2 weeks later, he said, "Hey, it's probably a better idea that you get him someplace else." And so we got him in Wilmer, Minnesota. So it worked out for all those players. That's what they needed. A lot of them just needed innings, or at bats, and um, some of them hadn't played for a long time. Some of the junior college players, their season was shut down. Um, and actually, if you think about the original question, we had one or two players in, I don't even know what state, but it was in the Northwoods League, and it was like a three-team pod in one of those states. So yeah, we had them sprinkled around, not so much east, but like Midwest and a couple in California.
Let's talk about some of these guys that you have returning from last year's shortened season. And there's a lot of youth on last year's team. A lot of guys kind of got thrown right into the fire. A lot of talented freshmen saw playing time right off the bat. And it was a very tough non-conference schedule that opening weekend in Arizona. Everybody remembers the Vanderbilt win, but it had home series against Michigan and Baylor, and Oklahoma was coming to town before things had gotten shut down. So one thing I saw you say to, in an article recently was that you felt that this lineup might be able to produce more runs than you've had the last 4 or 5 years. What makes you excited about the bats that you have coming back and that you're projected to have in your starting lineup?
Well, yeah, it's hopeful optimism. We just haven't been very good, especially from an offensive standpoint, the last few years. We just haven't developed our players to a high enough level. Uh, we kind of survived within the Big West, where the last 3 years we've been the second place team, and but we haven't been able to compete outside the Big West. Especially with some of the schedules that we've had in the past, like the teams that you mentioned. It's just a better. Some guys have developed. Um Offensively, and then you add a couple of new guys in there, and sometimes one guy can make a big difference in the middle of the lineup. It kind of takes pressure off um, everybody else. But in saying that, that will be better. The bar was pretty low. Okay, I mean, if you look at our numbers, um, probably since 2016 or 17. I'm not sure, but that they've been pretty lackluster. Not a lot of not hitting for a high average, not scoring a lot of runs, and not hitting for very much power. So uh, we're hoping. I mean, we have enough guys back. There's that one junior class that are 4 years into it. They were juniors last year, and they get their junior status back. But you have guys like Cabrera and Samuelson. Um, oh, Emerson's back as a catcher, uh, who can be an offensive player. DeCarlo is back; he was in that class. And so those guys, it's been a slow progression with their skills, and we're hoping that maybe this is a year where they can um, kind of play to their potential, which is not a very good word. You just want to be able to be a quality baseball player, but you add some of the younger guys into the equation, and some of those guys might be some of your better players and better bats, and um, you're just hoping the mixture of guys is capable of presenting a stressful lineup. And there's a couple of players from Boise State, Joe York, big left-handed hitting first baseman, and Reagan Doss, right outfielder. Those guys had some success at Boise State their freshman year, in limited sample size. So we'll see what they bring to the table now. So yeah, we'll play quite a few inter squads over the next 3 weekends, uh, to see where we're at and kind of have a better idea going into the season, how we're going to be in all facets, offense, defense, and pitching. So offensively, that's kind of where we're at. um, we'll be better, but again, how much better, I'm not sure. We're definitely going to be better, though.
Looking at your rotation, obviously losing Taylor Dollard to the draft, you're going to miss him on Friday nights. That being said, Alvarez did really well in his Saturday role. The small sample size we got at the beginning of last season, and obviously Thorpe turned a lot of heads with a couple of his outings. Brian Woo's another guy that's had experience in the rotation and coming out of the bullpen. How do you expect your starting rotation on the weekends, especially if there are 4 Big West games come conference play? How do you expect that to shake out?
Well, that should be our strength, uh, of the entire team. If they're keep on trending the way they're trending and stay healthy, Thorpe will move up to the Friday role, number one role, and uh, really good athlete, great feel for what he's doing. He has a swing and miss changeup, very calm. He's got that it factor. Um, Number two, Saturday pitcher, Travis Weston. He's a left-handed junior transfer from Boise State. Another swing and miss, kind of a great mindset, competitor, gets after it, strike thrower. And then you have Alvarez, who is much better this year. His mechanics have really um, gotten better, and allows him to be more consistent with a number of his pitches, and he has experience coming back. And then Brian Woo's probably made the biggest strides of anybody on our pitching staff. And if we were going 3 game series, we'd probably keep him in the bullpen and use him multiple times throughout the course of a week or course of a weekend. But he will be a fourth starter. But he has pounded the strike zone all fall. He's really our only power arm. He's probably 92, 95. Um, so, and in saying that too, it's like everybody else in the country pretty much got better, right? So, like within the Big West, everybody kept their Friday night guy, and so we lost our number one guy. Now the 4 guys replacing him, I mean, they're good, and it's probably the deepest starting staff that we've had in quite a long time, if they do what they're capable of doing. But in that draft, it only went 5 rounds. Dollar was a 5th rounder. There was only one other college north of us, up to the California Oregon border, to lose anybody. Davis lost their shortstop, but Stanford, Cal, Fresno, Sacramento State, all those schools up there, they didn't lose anybody. And within our league, Irvine keeps their number one guy as a Team USA guy. Fullerton keeps their number one guy, and they've added guys from transfers from other places. So I think for a year, the competition is going to be really strong, not only within the Big West, but throughout the country. So some of the teams that we played non-conference wise, they're loaded. Like UCLA comes in, and they're probably ranked 2 or 3 in the country. They have the best pitching staff in the country, and basically outside of one guy, they're all back, and along with the majority of their position players. So yeah, we took a hit on that, and but it was a good situation for Taylor. He got full slot money with Seattle, and while other players in the 4th and 5th round, they were signing for like 20,000, which slot would have been probably 500,000, but Seattle was willing to give him everything. So he's in a good place, and we're happy for him.
Well, number 22 here in 2021, it'll be his 19th season at the helm of the Cal Poly baseball program. Coach Lee, thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. We're really looking forward to seeing you guys back out there, and congrats on that beautiful clubhouse, man. That is really a state-of-the-art facility that's really going to help you guys and to give you an edge recruiting.
Yeah, it's great. It's we're happy to be moved in. Our players are taking full advantage of it, and we're just hoping to get past, have another year's time pass and get through this pandemic, so we can truly enjoy everything out here at Baggett Stadium.
Yeah, we miss the fans, that's for sure. But hopefully, maybe by the end of the season, we'll get a few bodies in there. Coach, thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right, as always, before we sign off, got to thank our friends at American Riviera Bank. They're a proud supporter of Cal Poly Mustang athletics. If you open up a Cal Poly Mustang checking account today, they'll donate $150 to support student athletes. It's an interest-bearing checking account. You don't get hit for ATM surcharge situations. You get full refunds, and you get an exclusive Cal Poly Mustang debit card and Cal Poly checks. It's the best bank deal on the Central Coast. Visit arb.bank/Mustangs for more information. American Riviera Bank, member FDIC. All right, that does it for this edition of the Mustang Insider. Calendar is going to flip to February, which means we've got more on the horizon as we start to get these spring sports back in the mix. Thanks so much for listening to the Cal Poly Mustang Insider, presented by Cal Portland from Learfield IMG College.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show, presented by Cal Portland, with a commitment to environmental leadership that has made the organization stronger and is the primary choice of contractors. The Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation of the Cal Poly Sports Network.